Hey everybody, I was thinking today, I had a client send me a message and said, hey, can you send me that Mortgage Candyland Map thing? So anybody that sat down with me knows we have this, like I call it the Mortgage Candyland Map. And it's essentially, here's where we are in the beginning and here's where we're trying to get, right? So we're starting at this process where we're getting pre-approved and ultimately we're ending with a home. So I just want to talk a little bit about what that process looks like. So ultimately, sometimes people find a house and they start there and then they back into, oh geez, I need to be pre-approved. Usually what we want to do is we want to make sure we can get that analytic side out of the way. So for instance, we want to get you pre-approved, get you in, sit down, talk about the monthly payment, the process, the cash to close, answer questions so that you have the analytics out of the way and you can move on and move into the emotional side of buying the house, getting excited about the house. So ultimately, you get under contract. And one of the first things you do, and a lot of these things happen simultaneously, is you pay the earnest money. So what is earnest money? Earnest money is essentially a deposit that's applied towards the cash you need to close. Even if you don't need any cash to close, that deposit will be applied towards that. So for instance, if you need zero and you need to put down $1,000, you will get that back at the closing table. So it's a deposit, it holds the house, it tells the seller you're serious. At the same time, you're usually setting up the inspection to make sure the house isn't falling apart. Really, really important process. It is not necessary in a technical sense for the lending process, but I highly, highly recommend that you get an inspection. The next piece is you're setting up the appraisal. And a lot of this, once again, happens simultaneously, but we sign disclosures. We do a quick disclosure meeting to make sure that the numbers we talked about on the front end are the same as the house we actually went under contract with. And then ultimately you order the appraisal to make sure the house is worth what you're buying it for. We take all this information, we put it into underwriting, and then we get what's called a conditional underwriting approval. It essentially says you are approved when you satisfy these conditions. And those conditions might be, hey, we need an updated bank statement, an updated pay stub, came on your credit report that you applied for a car 2 months ago. It's very granular, but that's the last piece we needed before we get everything submitted with the title work in order for it to be cleared to close. So that's what the process looks like. If you have any questions about it, want to get started, let me know. Be glad to help. Thanks, guys.